For the YouTube subscribers. Go subscribe already. Hit the fucking like button, subscribe button, knock your ass out, man. I ain't fucking with you, man.
UFC 284, guys, live from Perth, Australia. Yes, a place I still need to visit. Definitely on the bucket list. We got a huge main event. Pound for pound title on the line. Is on Makhachev versus Alexander the Great. Volkanovski fighting at home in his backyard. Excited to watch this fight. It's co-main event too. It should be a banger. Rest of the card, Rest of the card's not great, guys. Especially for a pay-per-view card. It's top heavy, right? You got the good co-main event, banger co-main event. Obviously, the big main event. Emmett versus Yair is the for the interim title. That is the co-main. I'll be breaking down the main card like usual, guys. Providing free picks, leans, and what to avoid. You want this card and all my personal plays, systemsportscapping.com to become a client today. A proven long-time winner in all sports. Sign up today, receive my personal plays for this card. Super Bowl, NHL, NBA, and PGA we are attacking currently. Social media, follow me if you aren't. Great follow over on Instagram and Twitter. You're going to find free picks there, client comments over the years, sports betting information, sports news in general, breaking news, etc. Instagram and Twitter, I'm the most active. Also just started up a TikTok as well. Like this video, it helps me out a ton, guys. Like the video, comment, do all that fun stuff. Get me going in that algorithm. 3 straight profitable client cards for the year, guys. We're perfect to start 2023 year. Can't ask for a better start right now. Last week, a little weekly update here. Last week on the Spivak side. New Spivak would just dominate him in the grappling and wrestling department, which I gave you guys for free here on the video. It also was a client play, and it was by finish. I took him by finish so we can improve the number, and then parlay it with Nakamura. Nakamura was a guarantee win there. Put them together, you get around even money, so we were able to attack that. First round finish for Nakamura. Very impressive. Probably biggest Japanese prospect we've seen in a while. So excited to see what he has. And then we're on Tabora, right? Tabora's side. Also gave that out to you guys as a free pick. I was on Tabora to get the win. Low price. I think it was what, minus 140, minus 135 if I recall. So we're looking good here. The quick update here on the UFC. I'll do a weekly update on all sports. 7-0 right now. 2023 start, 65% long-term, guys. Just under 60 units in the UFC market. NFL, 3 straight profitable playoff weekends. We're rolling here in the NFL. Super Bowl is lining up nicely for myself and clients. Video is out now. If you haven't checked it out, go check out the Super Bowl video. I released it on Tuesday. I'm sure some of you probably already see it. If you haven't, go check that out now. Another year, another profitable one in the NFL. NHL. What can I say about the NHL right now, guys? 70-36 right now. 67% the last 2 years. We continue to beat the books week after week in the NHL. NBA. NBA is fairly low volume. I don't like attacking NBA high volume. And we only had 1 bet in the last 2 weeks, and we pushed on that. So 65% last 2 seasons in the NBA. PGA, only market that we have started slow in the prop market. We do have 1 outright winner this year so far, but prop market has been slow. Looking to get back on track in the Phoenix Open this weekend. Client card is available for that now. 6-0 best bet run. Right now. That's long term, guys, about a year or so. I don't have many best bets. I'm very selective for my best bets. That's why they're called best bets. I don't just throw them out there. 6-0 best bet run right now. Let's hear from my friend Meredith before we get into this card.
Guys, Meredith Gorman here, and are you still not subscribed to Matt's channel? Well, if you're not, hit the subscribe button because he's giving out free picks each and every week. Hope you have a good rest of your day.
Shop around, guys. Shop around for the best price. Have multiple books so you can get the best price. I can't stress that enough. I stress it every video. Let's get right into it, and I'm so excited for this main event. Makhachev minus 400. Yes, minus 400 versus Volkanovski plus 320. Did you ever think you would see or hear that Volkanovski would be plus 320? Right? Dominating his fights in his division. Now he's stepping up a weight class. He decided to move up, take on a big challenge, and that's why we're seeing this number here at plus 320. Definitely value. Definitely value on Volkanovski for some of you guys that look for value and want to take a chance on Volkanovski here. Plus 320 is definitely favorable. You know, I have a question for you guys before we get into it. Have you ever been to the deep ocean? That's my question.
Big trouble. We're gonna bring him to the deep ocean.
It's where Islam brings you and brings his opponents. And when you get deep into the ocean without a life jacket or scuba gear, what happens? You drown, you give up. That's what Islam's able to do time and time again against his opponents. Now, we have seen Volk go into the ocean and survive against Ortega. Now we're going to see if he can go a deep ocean and survive. And, you know, if anyone could, I would have to say it's Volkanovski. Right? Islam isn't Ortega. Oh, if Islam's in that position, I think he finishes it, in my opinion. Obviously, he's going to be heavier as well. He's a bigger guy here. Islam will bring Volkanovski at some point to the deep ocean. And will Volkanovski be able to survive is the big question. You know, I've learned a few things betting on UFC in my career, guys. And it's been profitable every year. And there's a few reasons for that. One's always stay away from women's MMA low tier or even mid tier for high units. You know, once in a while I'll find a women's MMA fight where I see value because not too many people know or the books don't know about this upcoming women's fighter or they don't know that she's a much better wrestler. So sure, I'll pull the trigger there. But mid to low tier MMA fights, women's MMA fights, I stay away. If I bet it, it's smaller units. Avoid betting low tier heavyweight fights as well. If you're going to, again, I pick very wisely if I do bet it, and it's for smaller unit. And another way I've been able to profit over the years, time and time again, never bet against the Khabib family or the Khabib tree. And that's where we fall again here, right? Just don't bet against Islam Makhachev, who Khabib time and time said he's going to be the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world. And now here he's to prove it. That's the way to make money in the UFC. At least that's three part of my system that I have. That's three little pieces. Obviously, there's a whole lot more that goes into it and why I'm able to profit long-term every year and have high winning percentages. That's just a few little snippets I give you guys here. And nothing's changing in this matchup here. Just can't bet against the guy. Sure, I don't love this minus 400. This minus 400 is not going to be bet straight. But I'm going to have Islam Makhachev on my betting card in some fashion this weekend. Very tough to call an outcome here. It is tough to call an outcome here. I could see Volkanovski lasting going into the deep ocean. I can see him lasting throughout the fight and maybe getting to a decision. And Volkanovski's path, in my opinion, is to only win this fight by decision. And when you see Makhachev should have success bringing him down to the ground, can he keep him there is the question. We're going to find out. I think he can. He has time and time again. But is Volkanovski going to be able to last the deep ocean for 5 rounds? That's the big question. Is he going to be able to last the 5 rounds and, Makhachev wins a decision? It's possible. Right, but I also could see Makhachev ending this fight, mid to late fight. It's possible. It's just hard to, say Volkanovski is going to get finished. We just don't see it, right? But he's making that big step up here. And you're fighting an expert in grappling and wrestling and an expert at what he does. Right, Volkanovski is just very well-rounded. He's very good at everything. Is he an expert at anything? No. Great movement. Great fighter on the feet. Is he an expert grappler or wrestler? No. He's just good at grappling, good at wrestling. He has a good takedown defense. I think the height, people are talking about the height, the size. I think the height might benefit him. It could be a little harder to take down. But if Makhachev keeps going after the takedowns, he's going to get it. And when he gets you on the ground, are you going to be able to get up? That's the big question here, right? So it's going to be very interesting to see what Volkanovski does when he gets down there. Because we've seen Ortega getting him in compromised positions, and that's Ortega. Makhachev's at a different level, guys. So, will Volkanovski tap? Probably not, right? I think he'll just go to sleep before he taps. But is Volkanovski going to be able to get out of those positions when he gets into those compromised positions? That's the big question in this fight. I have a hard time seeing Volkanovski not get taken down in this fight. It's very hard for me to see that. Now, could he get up? Sure, but what if Makhachev continues to try to take Volkanovski down in this fight? Eventually, he's gonna break and get taken down, in my opinion. Now, on the feet, let's not rule out Makhachev. He's been improving his striking. He's very calculated. Great on his feet. I would just favor Volkanovski a little bit in the striking department, right? Just due to his movement and his volume. Makhachev doesn't have a ton of volume, right? So if this fight does go to a decision, Makhachev has to, mix in the takedowns and get him in, compromising positions to win that decision. If this was just a kickboxing fight on the feet, I'd probably lean Volkanovski, right? We haven't seen Makhachev on the feet a ton. And when we did see him against Charles is very hittable. And is easy to knock down. We've seen him in fights getting knocked down time and time again. Makhachev hurt him on the feet. And Makhachev's striking is very good. It's calculated. He doesn't throw a ton, but it's very calculated striking, and he doesn't get hit a ton. So guys, like I mentioned, I just cannot bet against the Khabib family and the Khabib tree. I'm going to have to go Makhachev here in some capacity. It's going to make my client card in some capacity. I'm not going to bet a minus straight up a 400. Could sneak in there as 2-5 parlay. May look at an outcome as well. But I'm very excited to see if Volkanovski can swim in the deep ocean. We're going to find out. We're going to find out in what? 3-4 days? 3 days. I'm excited, guys. I'm excited for this fight. I do expect Makhachev to win the fight. If Volkanovski wins, I would be shocked, but I wouldn't be like, oh my God, shocked. I'd be a little shocked. It's a tall task to move up. I think fight that some people are going to start saying one of the best to ever do it. Obviously another 5 years. I'm not saying now, but if he beats a Volkanovski here, just came off a huge win over Charles Oliveira, a couple more wins, guys, he's going to be in the conversation. So I do think this is a good matchup for him. The question is Volkanovski going to be able to last the full fight? We got a fun co-main event here, guys. We got a fun co-main event here. Rodriguez minus 165 versus Josh Emmett plus 140. This is a banger, guys. Tough fight to call. So there's some value here with Emmett. I have this line more at maybe minus 125 for Rodriguez. So I do see some value here for Emmett. We got the Rodriguez style. Very flashy, very excellent striker, comes from different angles, moves very well. Against Emmett, comes forward, bangs, throws heavy, right? When you come forward, bang, throw heavy, it's always dangerous for a knockout, right? But Rodriguez, tough son of a bitch, he showed it in multiple fights. Obviously, Max Holloway, he doesn't throw heavy, so it's a totally different fight here. But Rodriguez showed his skill, and Rodriguez showed his toughness in that Max Holloway fight. Against Emmett, it's going to be a little different against Emmett, because Emmett's going to throw heavy. He can mix in some wrestling as well. It'll be interesting to see if he does. You don't see it a lot. He does like to stand and bang a lot. But Rodriguez at this price at minus 165 in a fight where I have it close to 50-50, there is some value with Emmett here. This fight's not going to make my client card. I'm going to sit back and relax and watch it. I expect it to go over in rounds. I expect this fight possibly even make the decision. But this is a fight that I just want to sit back and enjoy, guys. Enjoy this fight. Should be close. We should see a lot of fun striking, a lot of fun movements in this fight. I'm just excited to watch this fight. I'm not going to be betting it. If I were to, it'd have to be the value at plus money with Emmett. That's the only way I can look. If I were to bet this fight, just sit back and enjoy this one, guys. Madalena minus 300 versus Brown plus 260. You could say there's some value here at Brown as well, but I really like Madalena. Australia's big prospect, and you knew he was going to be on this card, even though he did fight, 2-3 months ago? He wasn't going to miss this card. And he's just been blowing through guys. It's not like he's been hurt or anything, and he's not going to be able to fight on this card, right? 3 fights in the UFC and 3 first-round finishes. Yes, low-level guys, I do have to stress that. Randy Brown will be his toughest test yet. Brown's a tough guy to fight. Very lanky, long, usually has a height advantage and reach advantage. Here he has 78-inch reach advantage, 7 more than Madalena. Very good movement, too, for Brown. He is on a 4-fight win streak. He has won some money for me on that streak as well. I bet Brown 3 times on that streak. He beat Cowboy Oliveira, found a submission there. Jared Gooden, good fighter. Chaos Williams, who's a dangerous guy on his feet. And Trinaldo, the veteran, in his last fight, which we were on all three of those fights were by decision. And Brown does fight the decision. He kind of picks you apart, finds his shots, finds his angles, uses his jab, and moves around. He's not going to KO you with one shot. He has a sneaky good submission game. So, Madalena would want to watch out for that if it does get down to the ground. He does have 5 submissions. This will be Brown's biggest test yet as well, right? And I'm high on Madalena. He's fighting at home. Brown's here in enemy territory. So advantage Madalena. I'm just very high on him as a prospect. He's just been looking very good. Even though it's low-level guys, he's been blowing through them, right? So I have the Aussie winning this fight. Minus 300 is not appealing, but I'm going to try to fit him in some way. Even if you get Madalena by finish, you're paying for it, right? You're paying for it. But we have seen Brown get rocked at times. I could see Madalena finishing this fight. Probably not in the first round, but somewhere, maybe later in the fight. But yeah, I expect Madalena to win this fight. Have him on your betting card in some capacity this weekend. This is an ugly one, guys. What did I just warn you about in my Makachev breakdown there? Warning, low-tier heavyweights. You know how I feel about these fights, guys. Stay away. You don't have to bet every fight on the card. Tafa, he's terrible at 5-3. He's fun to watch. He has some power, throws heavy leg kicks. He looks like a fighter. He looks like the part, right? But he has losses over De Castro, Felipe, and Jared Vanderer. It's just very low-level guys that he's losing to. And even if he does win, he's coming off a win versus Hunsucker, who I could beat. And I'm not even a heavyweight. All right, so yes, he's fighting at home. And yes, he's going to be my pick for video purposes. But, Porter's sneaky good at times. He's tough. He has some decent wins. Even though they're over low-level guys like Parisian, he brings the fight, usually Sherman and Bodo. And then he fell short in his last fight, but against Almeida, who's not a low-tier guy. He's a mid to heavy. He's going to be Almeida. I wouldn't be surprised if he's a top 5 guy soon in that division. Almeida just coming off another early win on that Brazil card. So this is a sloppy one, guys. Stay away from this one. It can go either way. I lean Tafa just because he's fighting at home. Maybe he's going to have some extra energy. Maybe he catches Porter with one of his big kicks or shots because Tafa is coming off a nice head kick win, if you remember that nice kick from Tafa. So staying away, but I lean Tafa. Price isn't terrible for getting the hometown guy, but both fighters are terrible. So this could be a sloppy one. Or we could see Tafa just coming out, throwing heavy and catching Porter in this fight. I wouldn't be surprised. Fun fight to open up the main card. We got Crute back. Crute is back. Jimmy Crute minus 180 versus Menefield plus 155. Crute to me is a clear example of the UFC rushing him too fast to the top guys, in my opinion. Early 20s, he started getting some nice wins, right? He had some nice wins over Paul Craig, Sam Alvey, lower tier guys. Then he had a tough physical fight against Serkinov, and he got caught in one of the most beautiful submissions you're going to see in a Perusian necktie, and that was a little bit of a step back for Crute. And then they gave him guys like Anthony Smith and Jamal Hill after he got back-to-back wins over lower tier guys, and I just think it's too much. It was too much of a rush. Even though against Crute, Anthony Smith, Crute obviously got hurt in that fight. He hurt his knee, then he came back against Hill, didn't look 100% against Hill. Then he took some time off. Right, he took some time off to get, train, obviously get that knee better. And I think this spot's good for him. I think this is a good spot for him to get back on track because when he has fought mid-tier guys like Menefield, he was able to win in most cases. Right, Menefield, we know how he's going to win this fight. Catch Crute with a big shot. It's possible. It's possible. When I see a guy just having one path to victory and it's catching the other guy with a big KO, I'm usually going to look the other guy's way, right? Crute obviously can find a submission, great on the ground, great grappler. He should be able to get Menefield down to the ground at some point in this fight, and he can strike as well. But yes, Menefield does have a path. He's a physical guy, and he could possibly avoid the takedowns in this fight and keep this on the feet and hurt Crute maybe finishing him. It's possible, right? But I have it at a lower percentage than Crute winning this fight in multiple paths, right? By decision, by finish, by submission. Right, so Crute's a good look here. Could make my client card this weekend. Fighting at home as well. Rested. He hasn't fought for a while due to that injury. And he's been fighting guys like Anthony Smith and Jamon Hill. And Menifield hasn't. Right, Menifield's beating mid-tier guys, even though he has some nice wins under his belt. That will do it, guys. That will do it. I'm excited for this card, especially the two big fights, right? The co-main and the main event. Definitely be ordering the pay-per-view here. I suggest you do as well. If you haven't, go check out that Super Bowl video. Super Bowl this weekend. We got the Phoenix Open. We got this UFC card. It's a stacked weekend. So enjoy. Like I always say, bet smart and know your limit. Take care.